Welcome to the Making of Me podcast. Today's guest is Karen Vita, a resilient and trauma transformation coach who helps people move from veneer perfection and hidden pain into authentic joy, emotional freedom, and purpose. Karen's life looked perfect from the outside until the shatter overnight. In this episode, we'll talk about identity, healing, and rebuilding when everything you know fall apart. It's really a pleasure having you on the show, Karen.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, Karen, what did you mean by veneer perfection?
So I know it's kind of this word I kind of coined up. I mean, we all know what veneers is. If you have
Yeah.
veneer teeth, it looks shiny and pretty and beautiful on the outside. But if you took off the veneer layer, it has, the real thing underneath, what it really is. And I feel like my life was veneer perfection. If anybody was looking in on the outside or from Facebook or like when we were out in public, our family, we look like this perfect family all the time. Perfect post every day, the boys matching in their outfits, everything just organized and beautiful. And, where everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're such an ideal couple and an ideal family. We volunteered at everything together. My ex now, him and I, we taught at the same high school together. So just a very strong power team with these two boys who we just looked like we had it all together all the time. But really inside the walls at home, like it was fighting all the time behind every post on Facebook. I could tell you exactly what fight was happening before the picture was taken.
Mm.
So it was definitely, veneers. It definitely so fake. Like a lot of people do. We hold up this image that's so not even real, but we want people to believe it's real. So
Yeah.
that's my
Amazing.
veneer perfection.
Wow. Amazing. Thanks for the definition. Yeah, Karen. So, when your life actually collapsed publicly, what was the hardest part to face?
The hardest parts of just everything that happened.
Yeah, the hardest part.
So the little insight of what happened, the overnight, one call changing my life, the instant shattering of this family, even though so it was veneer perfection. So everybody thought we looked, perfect and everything was great. And then now my ex, a girl from 19 years ago. So my ex and I taught at the same school, and a girl from 19 years ago made an accusation that she was sexually assaulted from 19 years prior from him. And so he lost his job, lost all the volunteering, like our family, like he lost his whole identity of what we had, which really I lost my identity because I wasn't a married person anymore. I was a single mom all of a sudden. And what made it worse is that he was on the news and now everybody knew. Like everybody knew what was going on in an instant when his picture was on the news. And so our veneer perfection was broken. Like now everybody saw we weren't perfect. And so it was really hard. I was in denial. I didn't even realize how much was even going to change in my life all of a sudden. I just lost my identity instantly. I was lost. I mean, bottom line, I was just lost. And I had two boys, 11 and 13, who were learning things that they really shouldn't have been exposed to from friends, from social media, from other parents of the things he was being accused of, and watching their dad go through that. They didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to handle helping them. I wanted to go be depressed in bed and shut down from the world. So it was really hard when things happen abruptly that you don't expect.
Oh, that must really be tough. I don't even have a word for it. But anyway, thank God you survived it. So, you talk about busy happiness. What is it and why is it dangerous?
Well, so the busy happiness, that's how I survived. I survived, you go in survival mode, which really I should have been in healing mode. Now looking at it, it's been 7 years since this happened. I'm like, why am I just now moving on? And, why am I not remarried by now? Like, why is it took this long? It's because I literally just started the healing process last year. And you're like, well, what have you been doing for 6 years before that? And it's really because you're in denial and you don't want to face the problem like this storm, like you have this huge storm coming and you're like, oh, I'm just going to keep driving around the storm and not like just face the storm and get to the other side of it. And so that's how I say busy happiness, because I just volunteered for everything I could. I mean, even painting the parking lot at my school, I'm like, oh, I'll do that. I mean, like anything that happened, I'm like, oh, I'll do that. I'll volunteer. and COVID happened, I had to check out and just go walk and run, like for hours, like 5 hours a night. I would just be gone walking and running. I would do anything to check out of reality and just stay busy, even though, so I looked like I was happy. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, she's doing so great because she's, so involved and looks so happy and she's so strong. But really, I was just functioning. I wasn't feeling, I was just going through the emotions. But I wasn't doing any healing, I wasn't doing anything for myself at all.
So at what point did you now realize that staying busy was not the same as healing?
So in 2024, so my son was getting ready to graduate high school. He graduated in May of 2025. And as I'm seeing him go through his senior year, my youngest son, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be alone. Like he's going away. Like here I am just serving all these other families in the community with everything I can. And then I'm watching them go home to their families, have these big celebrations, and I have nobody. I mean, my oldest boy already left. I mean, that's a whole nother story. And then my youngest is about to graduate and leave. And I'm like, I got to make a life for myself. And so I gave myself permission. And I know that sounds so weird to say, but you really have to give yourself permission because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to look as strong or I'm going to look selfish if I just start doing stuff for myself. People are going to think that I'm breaking down or going into depression. But I really just started blocking off time and learning to say no to people and yes to me more. Yes, in working out. Yes, into going out on these. The church group had these singles activities, and I would watch other people go, and I'm like, oh, they look like they're having fun. But I'm like, oh no, I signed up for this other thing, so I gotta, be working till midnight on my computer or on something else. And I was like, no, I gotta block time off for me and say it's okay to go out on a Saturday and be with friends and start building a life for myself. And building a life from a married person to a single person, that was really hard. I mean, it's still kind of hard. Just you're used to going to all these like couple things and things that are just assumed that you're going to
Yeah.
go to when you're a couple. But when you're single and you're showing up alone at things and you don't really know, it's just so unfamiliar. It's weird.
Yeah, so
So,
crazy. Yeah. How did that experience force you to redefine who you were?
my gosh, I was like, I felt when I went out and just stopped working all the time and realizing that I could build a life and give myself a permission and I was getting in great shape working out. I stopped wearing an Apple Watch. I was like, no, I'm not going to be at everybody's beck and call. It gave me, it felt like such freedom, but healing. Like it actually gave me time to really focus and process what happened. Like everything that happened with the case, with my ex now, with my son, my oldest one ran away because he couldn't handle everything that happened, the change of the family dynamics. And it just gave me, I, it really helped me define myself, but really, one, realizing I needed healing. A lot of people don't even realize they need healing. They're like, oh, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. And I feel like I went from perfect to fine, and both of them don't really exist. They're both made up in these facades to cover up, what we're trying to hide. And that's facing reality and being vulnerable, being authentic, and being like, oh my gosh, I went through a very crappy situation and I haven't even faced it. I just pretend it doesn't exist. So I know I'm kind of going all over from your question, but it definitely redefined me to be a stronger person, find my inner strength, give me permission to really just take time for myself. I started going to church again and just building that community of church and the singles group, and then time for myself, reading books and podcasts and having great people like you to have shows like this to hear other people's voices and realize you're not alone. And that's the thing, if until you start the healing process and listening to different people, you think you're alone. I was alone for a long time. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like no one has to deal with it, what I have to deal with." But I realized they did, and we're not victims. We are going to come out warriors, and it makes us stronger. And there's a reason why this happened in some way. Who knows? But it did, and I feel stronger and more redefined than ever. I didn't let the circumstance define me. I think I did at first, for sure, because I filled it with busy happiness. But then I decided to find my life. I had to find it. We got to do. We got to define our lives.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. This is really encouraging, being that you've gone through it, but looking back, you actually redefined it at one point, and yeah, you're now far, far now stronger compared to who you were before, and that was pretty really amazing. So many
Yeah.
people feel trapped. Many people feel trapped by perfectionism. What keep them stuck?
People stay stuck. Well, why I stay stuck? We stay stuck because we don't want to face the problem. We don't want to face that we're, alone now, or, we have to rebuild this new identity. We're used to, and this, my situation, was, like I said, ex, all of a sudden, the police came to the school, he's arrested, he's on the news. But between that, or if someone's spouse dies, a husband or wife, if they die, if they get a car accident, cancer, like there's so many number of things that can change someone's life instantly from what they thought they knew. And now they have to learn something new, and so they wanna stay stuck in what they think, well, all that they know. Like, I knew myself as a married person, and I worked at the school, and I had these kids, and I volunteered, and so when I looked at it, once my ex was out of the picture, I was like, "Okay, well, I'm still an educator, and I'm still gonna volunteer for everything, but I'm gonna do even more. Like, I'm gonna do his part too," and the reason why I stayed so stuck was because I was avoiding the problem, and I felt like I would look weak if I didn't show everybody how strong I was, but I just wasn't healing because I was avoiding it. And that's why when I talk about acute trauma versus chronic trauma, acute, like, trauma is horrible. There's so many varieties of trauma out there, a large spectrum of trauma, but anything that shakes up your life and makes you rethink, rebuild, heal, or whatever, you got to look at it and say, okay, this sucks, but here's the steps. I got to make a plan. Here's the steps to forge through it, get past it, and become better, stronger, and start moving forward, because you can't go in the past. I can't change what happened, but either we go through the storm and make it acute where the
Yeah,
scars are still there, pain is still gonna it no pain's ever gonna go away totally, but it's not just putting a Band-Aid on it. It's really facing the issue and fixing it. So that's acute
yeah,
trauma, like, make it small as possible, small as in the time of trying to heal, or you make it chronic, and chronic is what I did. I It cost me a lot of years, it cost me time with my kids, because I was, not that I wanted to avoid them, but because I wanted to avoid reality. I volunteered for so much stuff and kept myself busy, and I got a second job to support the household after, I'm on one income, that it cost me so much staying in this stuckness of chronic trauma, where it's like, oh, I'll just put a Band-Aid on it. Oh, I see the bills coming in. Oh, I see that the kids need this. I see all these different things, but you just want to avoid it. And so you prolong it and stay stuck in whatever world. It's really survival world. But you got to realize you can survive without living in survival world, and still rebuild yourself into a new identity that just makes you stronger. And I just want people not to, I feel like I wasted so much time trying to avoid the problem. I just want people to face it, and let's come up with a plan and be like, here we go. Let's get through it, because it sucks, but we can't go back.
yeah, yeah. Amazing, amazing. So, what was the turning point that shows you that real healing has begun?
The real healing, I feel like, started, well, for sure. Well, like I said, when Kyle, my son, when he was about to,
Mm,
getting close to graduation, and I started going out, and I really started listening to podcasts. I started working out more, meditating more, doing a lot of yoga, a lot of Pilates, and then just being invited to different singles things and learning and sharing from other people. I felt like I felt a massive healing. I felt like the anger went away. Church helped with that too. Just, finding forgiveness in the situation, finding peace with it, saying it, really just owning up. This is my new life. And here's the things that all these other people have gone through. And look, everybody survived. No one dies from this. A part of your heart dies, but it can just rebuild even stronger. And so I felt like this last year, just really having a support system of others. And I think I just didn't even realize there were so many people out there like me. I mean, I really didn't. I lived in this little bubble of veneer perfection. I didn't realize there was so much out there. And after my ex now was on the news, so many people from my community who I thought had the perfect life. I felt like I had to keep up with the Joneses all the time, but they came forward to me. They would call me and text me or even stop by my house and be like, "Oh, this is what's going on in our lives. This is what's going on in our lives." And really giving me the comfort to realize, wow, we all live in veneer perfection. We're trying to put on this fake facade all the time. There's so many of us, but if we would just be authentic and real, I tell you, we'd have a much happier life. Like I feel so much
Yeah,
happier and feel like I have so much freedom just saying, "Hey, this is me. This is what it is," instead of trying to be so fake all the time. Like I feel like I was performing all the time before my veneer perfection. And then after the case happened, I felt like I was performing even better. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I could be actress of the year," because everybody just thinks I'm doing so great, but really I was dying inside, like literally just dying. I probably I thought I was gonna die at age 50 at my desk because I would just work myself to pieces. I'm not 50 yet, but yeah, by 50 I thought I would probably die the way I was working. I think healing is just really opening up your mind and your heart to listening to others, listening to, like I said, shows like yours, and just realizing you're not alone is
yeah,
huge. It's huge to find
yeah.
that support system and just stop burying yourself in fake busy happiness that doesn't matter. That it just wasted so many years of my life, I feel like.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Karen. This is really powerful. The fact that yeah, you just make reference to it that a whole lot can be going inside, and a whole lot of person just keep it to themselves. But never say that. But opening up actually more like create a process for healing, which the burden of what people think is it's actually being removed, and then the process can actually get started. So for someone whose perfect life just broke, where should they start?
Well, it's hard to, I mean, you don't wanna say something like, "Well, that happened, you need to start moving on," It's hard to move on when everything that
Yeah,
you just collapsed, so they do need time, everybody needs time to grieve, but to make sure they find their resources, like, and not saying the denial part too long, like, really owning up what just happened, like, really having a conversation, like, "This is what happened." So, how are we going to rebuild? Let's take baby steps. Where is this going to affect you? Well, depending on the situation, where is it going to affect you with your living, financial, your kids, and all those things. But I would say number one, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling there. Number one thing is make a list of your support system. And I wish I would have done that because I felt like I had so much pride and ego, or so worried that people would not see me as perfect still, even though it's exposed all over the news. And not that, I mean, it wasn't anything that I did. It was, way before I even knew him. So it's not like I did something that came out that I wasn't perfect, but just that our image of the family wasn't all put together. It bothered me. But I wish I would have made a support group because I didn't even, like, lean on my own family. I just wanted to look strong and be like, "It's okay. I got it. I got it. I got it." When really I didn't. I didn't have it. And so I want people to say, "You know what? You don't have it." Don't be in denial. Don't try to be the strong one. Don't think you have to put everything on your shoulders. Build your support system. List out your family, your friends. What relationships do you have that you can depend on those people and talk to them and get to a support group? And that was the other thing when the whole arrest happened, we were told no, you can't really talk to a lot of other people because whatever you say to them could be they can use it in court. And so it's like we had to be real, like, keep all of our feelings and emotions inside. That was the other thing too. And it's like, no, you find that confidant and you talk it out. You can't hold it in. But really just build that support system first and then look at everything that is going to change due to what happened. If, like, say, if it's financial, living, needing help with the kids or, whatever. Those are the baby steps in between. But getting that
yeah,
support system and getting the help for that person and making sure they know it's okay to take time for themselves. That was the other thing, to say I can block out time for myself and not feel guilty and not say, "Oh my gosh, I'm not helping them," or I'm not helping my kids or whatever. Be like, "No, you have to block out time because it's like on an airplane. You got to put the mask on yourself before others." And I was never putting the mask on myself. I was helping others and I was exhausted. I mean, I was, like I said, gonna just burn out.
yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Karen. There's a whole lot to actually learn in here. Yeah, take our time to grieve, over the lost, and after that, yeah, find a confidant to share with, because even through just sharing, the burdens of what is secretive would actually more like let go, and healing can actually get started. And it's really amazing. Thanks for the whole lot of lessons. So Karen, for my audience who want to connect with you, who want to reach out to you, and yeah, who wants to dive into the discussion more, maybe just want to reach out to you and connect with you, where should they reach out, and where is the best platform to do this?
Oh, yes, absolutely. If anybody wants to talk or go through I mean, I'm here to help whoever definitely wants to help, and I want them to not lose years off their life like I did, staying in that busy happiness and realizing it's okay, not to be perfect all the time, or it's okay not to be fine all the time. Just be yourself. Yeah, I'm gonna say in a second, but yeah, I feel like I went through, veneer perfection to authentic tragedy to authentic joy. And I just want everybody to find that authentic joy, whatever it is, But so on Instagram, I'm at Karen's Imperfect Perfect Life. I made it that way because I wanted everything so perfect, but I realized having an imperfect life makes my life perfect.
Yeah.
So Karen's Imperfect Perfect Life. YouTube, the same thing. Karen's Imperfect Perfect Life. On TikTok, that one was actually taken, which I was surprised, but so I made it My Imperfect Perfect Life. But yeah, my name's Karen Peters, and search me. And I would love to help anybody who would like to talk and go through things and see how I can help them.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karen. This has really been amazing. Yeah, your story reminds us that yeah, healing does not come from pretending everything is fine. It comes from courage, honesty, and rebuilding from the inside out. If this episode resonates with you, share with someone who may be silently struggling. Thank you once again for listening to the Making of Me podcast. And once again, it's really a pleasure having you on this episode, Karen.
Thank you. It was great. Thank you.